When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hey guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fan fiction story. Now, before we begin this fan fiction, I need to explain a couple things. It's nothing too out of the ordinary. It's just a couple changes. Now, the Corkless population, there's going to be a lot more percentage. Let's say it's about 50% of the population in Japan are Corkless. It's just a higher degree of population, but anyways. Because he's a reincarnation of Lord Beerus, he has to unlock the God Key and the Destruction Key, Destruction Energy, or Destruction Energy. I don't know what they call it. It's been a while since I watched Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super. This is basically Super stuff. But anyways, let's not get into that. Despite having destruction energy, he's not the god of destruction. Let's get that out of the way right now. Oh well, let's worry about that later. I will explain it in the story itself, so I don't want to ruin anything. So he has access to all those things. He just needs to learn how to use it, and that will be explained in the story as well. As we start our story off in a... Oh, sorry. I messed it up. A man being dragged... Well, sorry. A man being dragged off. The Corkless Suppress unit drag another Corkless person in the back of the vehicle as they relocate anyone that doesn't have a cork in a part of the city that they sealed off. The laws for the Corkless humans or people has gotten only worse over the years since the emergence of corks. The Japanese government stripped all the Corkless of all rights and doesn't really consider them human. Totally ignore their existence as they build a Corkless district and threw them all in. Only people that enter is the suppressed force, as there's several units guarding the exit 24/7, making sure no one leaves. Anyone that does approach the exit of the district, they're immediately killed on sight. As the reincarnation of Lord Beerus is finally being born in a very run-down hospital in the Corkless district. Inko might have a cork, but her family protested the law that stripped all rights for all the Corkless. The Hero organization, mostly the safety committee, had her family and her entire family killed, except leaving one daughter alive by accident. They place her in the district when they finally figured it out, so they could cover up their tracks. She was too young to remember what happened to her family. She was only 2 years old when her mother was when her whole family was killed. After a long and painful labor, her son was finally born. It was immediately noticeable that her son has two different eye colors. Green, well, one eye green, another purple. She could swear she saw his pupils change into cat slits. Cat pupils, you know, the slits for eyes, basically. And it returned back to normal a second later. As time progressed, as Inka was raising her son, as she started to notice that he has two different hair colors. Half of his hair is green and the other half is purple. On the side where his purple eye is, and the green hair is on his side with his green hair, where his green eye is. A couple big strands of purple hair invading the green side, but not a whole lot. Only like a couple strands of hair, a good sized strands, as you've seen it done though. Inko is unsure what's happening to her son. Being in his district, they clearly don't have the medical equipment or anyone that has knowledge to run the machines, to run the examinations in the Quirk district. In the district, it's a fight for your life, it's fight for life just to get food. As much as she wants to figure this out, as much as she wants to figure out why her son has two different eye colors and two different hair color, she put that on a hold. She has to make sure she has enough food for the both of them to last the next week. Finding food is far more important at this current stage. When Izuku was 5 years old, he watched his mother get extremely sick. He did his best to try to get medicine for his mother by the occasional drops that the Hero organization drops care packages in the Quirkless district. He just wanted a quirk to help his mother to get better. Unfortunately, she died a few months after his 5th birthday, before he could figure out if he manifests a quirk or not. His mother died, leaving the 5-year-old Izuku by himself. He's never been alone before. He's always had his mother. His father was killed months before Inko found out that she was pregnant. For the first time in his entire life, he's truly alone. Izuku's always been a strange boy. He never outright showed affection towards someone. As Izuku's just standing there in front of his mother's corpse in her bed, as he tilts his head to the right a little bit. If someone walked in, they would be highly disturbed by the blank expression he has while looking at his dead mother. He's quite saddened by his mother's death, even though he doesn't show his facial expressions. As he noticed his mother, was holding on to her journal that she wrote in constantly. As he gently removed her hands and picked up the journal, starting to read it. He always wondered why his mother always wrote in his journal. Every time he asked, she would dodge the question. As it's her whole life in this journal. He found out that the Hero organization killed his mother's entire family and placed his mother here, even though she had the quirk. Izuku have seen many people with quirks in this district, It's not unheard of. Many villains and vigilantes use this district to lay low. He is sadness. He is saddened and confused. Is overshadowed by his pure anger he got from reading his mother's journal. Despite everything his mother's been through, she had no ill will towards the hero organization, even though they killed her entire family. Unfortunately for Inko, her son doesn't share that same compassion, but he can't do anything about it because he has no quirk. As he spent the next few years waiting for his quirk to finally manifest, but no power revealed itself, sadly. Izuku spent his whole time stealing and getting supplies drops that the Japanese government drops now and then in the district. Food, medicine, supplies, and so on. Even when he turned 6, still no quirk. Oddly, he wasn't too disappointed. Nowadays, the days progress until one day when he was scavenging, he got interrupted by a ghostly-looking purple cat hovering in the air, right in front of him, yawning. "What the hell you think you're doing, boy? This is pathetic. I can't believe once mighty god of destruction is resorted to this. Where's your pride, boy? I've been watching you in your entire life. What I've seen pisses me off. It's truly a shame that Ms. Inko has passed. You have my sympathy, boy. But that doesn't excuse this weakness I've been seeing." "What are you even talking about? I don't feel some sort of..." What are you even talking about? I do feel some sort of similarity to you. As Izuku tilts his head to the right, looking at Beerus. "Listen well. I was the god of destruction. Name's Lord Beerus. I destroyed what planet I chose or deserved to be erased. You, my boy, you are my reincarnation. So I don't have much time. Eventually, I will have to go back. But until then," as he raised his finger, "I'm going to get you to tip-top shape. No reincarnation of me will be this pathetic. And get that idea out of your head, boy. It doesn't matter if you have a quirk or not. You don't need something so pathetic as a quirk. I'm offering you, my boy, real power. I either need more sleep or I'm going insane. Regardless, it doesn't matter. Can anyone see you? Because it would look very strange. A talking purple ghost cat started talking to me. You're not crazy, kid. It's real. You don't have to worry about that. You're the only one that's able to see me. Do you now? The question is, do you want power?" As he outstretched his hand, and a gesture for Izuku to grab it, even though he can't physically touch him. "Yes, I do. I need power." "Very well, boy. Let's begin immediately." As Beerus placed his palm, astral projection palm, ghost palm, over Izuku's face as memories starts to flush through his mind of all the battles he once had, learning about Kai energy, and steps how to acquire God Ki, or God Kai. Lord Beerus was quite surprised that the boy had destruction energy in him. He might not be the god of destruction, but he sure does have the powers. So Lord Beerus made it perfectly clear he needs to start with regular ki training then move on to God Ki when he masters that. Then he'll be then he needs to tap into his destruction energy. Physical training is up to his reincarnation. He can't really help him in that department in his current state. He'll leave that up to the boy, but he'll train him how to use Ki properly and help him along with other when he finally gets into God Ki. Then eventually help him if he's still around when he does. He gets into the destruction energy. He's fully aware he's most likely won't be able to help him with his training. He is running out of time. Zeno grant him this gift to help his reincarnation. When he found out about it, he gave him a certain amount of time. And Beerus is fully aware this is not some sort of kind gesture towards him. Zeno made it clear that he wants to make his reincarnation into a god of destruction, replacing one of the gods. It seems like his brother's on his way out. Zeno has been patient. Get his I forget his name. I think it's Champa. I believe so. I could be wrong. Zeno's been patient with Champa, and unfortunately, all the warnings he hasn't heeded. So they decided they're going to replace him. It's been a few months since. Well, sorry, it's only been a few months, and Beerus was quite surprised by his progress. He perceives this new information quite well. He's learning this in an insane quick. Beerus found out he's a insane quick learner, like he's done this before. He taught him his fighting style just in case that he gets in a confrontation where he has to use his physical strength. Even Beerus was surprised at this, as his reincarnation almost keeps all of his prior strengths physical strength when he was alive. He's not up to his peak form like he was back in his days as a god of destruction, but with some training, he'll get there. He's just crazily strong naturally. Occasionally, Beerus would try to get him to tap into his Hawkeye energy. But he's still very young. It's only been a few months since he has been about this. Beerus has a couple more years with the boy, so he has plenty of time. Plenty of time to gives him plenty of time to power train him, to get him used to using the three different keys that three different energies that he's going to master. He has until Izuku turns 11. He is currently 6 right now. 5 years to get him powerful enough so his reincarnation doesn't give him a bad name. While Beerus was training for him to master his abilities that he learned from himself. He taught him himself, and a couple that Izuku made up. As Izuku could hear a loud explosion, the members of the Justice League had enough of Japan, of the hero organization activities, making a district into a humongous concentration camp, using people from this district in a very unhumane way, with putting them through experiments. No one ever says anything. According to the rest of the people of Japan, they're not even considered humans. Alright, boy. I want you to watch these people closely. This will give you an idea how real combat is performed. Even though they're just mortals. I mean, guess I'm mortal now, so, and dead. So, that's that. That's that. I just want to go back to sleep. Sorry, I just want to go back to sleep. But I have to help you get out. But I gotta help my reincarnation, so you don't give me a bad name. Izuku nodded at Beerus as he turned his attention towards the Justice League fighting the quirkless suppress unit or force. I'm just gonna refer to them as suppress force from now on, just so I don't have to say that whole thing. That's a long name to say. So anyways, let's continue. As the district becomes a battleground, as you see Izuku take flight and land on a one-story building, the building that he landed on is halfway destroyed, as he's watching the Justice League battle the suppressed force. While Selena was battling the suppressed force, she was wondering why she even agreed to help Batman with this, but hearing what they've been doing to these people kind of struck a chord with her. She spots something in the corner of her eye as she notices a young boy, on a one-story roof, just standing there watching the carnage. As Selena spin around and kick one of the suppressed force, the side of the head, she noticed two of the suppressed force are on the same roof as a kid. As she unfurled her whip, as she used her whip to climb up the building, and when she was no longer going to use her whip to get up there, she used the metal claws that are on her fingertips from her outfit, and climbed the rest of the way there. Looks like we have company. Reincarnation. Don't do a thing. I have a feeling that woman in black leather means you no harm. But the two are approaching us from behind. That's a different story. You could easily defeat these fools with your current abilities. That woman is a good opportunity to improve your living situation, so you can finally get the hell out of here. You could simply fly out of here, but we would have to worry about you surviving on your own, and that won't do. You're far too young. Selene finally made her way on top of the roof, intervening before the suppressed force could get any closer. As she wrapped her whip around one of their rifles and yanked it out of his hand, and used the gun that's wrapped around her whip to hit the man inside the head with the back of the gun, basically the whole. You get what I mean. I forget what it's called at the moment. I just can't think of it right now. Anyways, let's continue. The butt of the gun. I'll say that way. That gives you a somewhat idea of what I'm going for. Could have said, pistol whipped him with his own gun while it was wrapped around the whip, but nevertheless, let's get this on. As she saw the two men fall to the ground, as she makes sure that they are knocked out by smashing her fist into their face, successfully knocking them out if they weren't already. Hey there, I don't mean no harm. Where's your parents? It's dangerous out here. Dead. Who's been taking care of you then? No one. I don't know how things are run outside of the district, but that's not how things work in here. Only person you could count on is yourself. She found herself in a difficult position. She doesn't want to leave the boy here. Even if things improve, it would take it would take too long, and she doesn't know what will happen to him. Her second option is to take the boy with her. She knows if she does that, she's going to have to take care of him. She has no desire to drop him off in some random orphanage. She finally made up her mind as she picked up the young boy in her arms. If no one's gonna do it, then I'll do it, as she thinks to herself. What are you doing, lady? Simple. I'm gonna take care of you. As she pressed she pressed the device that's in her ear. Hey, Bats, it looks like you got everything under control. I'm gonna bail. I have some prior engagements I need to take care of. I'll talk to you later, Bats. As she destroyed the earpiece in her palm of her hand, that was used to keep in contact with the rest of the league. As she made her way out of the district, everyone was all more concentrated on the fight, so no one was guarding the entrance to the district. So she passed right through it without no trouble. When she got out of the city, she picked up her phone and dialed Harley. She was in Japan with Ivy on a couples retreat, so she knows that they're in the same country. After talking with Ivy, they eventually drove up in a vehicle. As she sat in the back while buckling up Izuku with the seatbelt as the vehicle drove off. You got great timing, Selene. We were about to head back to Gotham. So, what's with the little kid over there? Is that the one you were talking about? He's a very interesting looking kid. I do like his hair. His hair color. Is it natural or dyed? My hair is natural, lady. We don't have those sort of things in the district. Regardless, you really have cool hair, kid. You have my two favorite colors, green and purple. As she sat back as she told everyone to sit back and relax. We got a long road ahead of us. We'll stop by somewhere to get something to eat. When we stop at a hotel for tonight. I figured you must be starving, considering you look like you haven't ate much. Only response Harley Quinn got was a no. While Harley drove the vehicle, Selene was talking with Poison Ivy. She noticed the kid was leaning against her shoulder as he's fast asleep. She ruffles his hair while he's peaceful sleeping. I really don't think I was the type to want a kid. I'm in the thick of things now. Might as well go all the way. I was surprised when you brought it up on the phone. I can't imagine what his life was in that district. I heard some very disturbing things about that place. How they would kidnap anyone from that district and do very nasty experiments just to see if they could. They pretty much ripped away their rights like they're not even people. And they treat like the quirkless like they're animals. It's sickening. It's insane. I personally can't stand Japan. It's a beautiful country. Unfortunately, I can't say the same thing about the people population, or the population though. I agree with you there. I saw what the government of Japan was up to. Batman provided some disturbing evidence. These people out here, these people out here, they lost their goddamn minds. The whole government is power hungry. They're nothing but a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. Batman and his little friends will probably help the situation. Unfortunately, that's not much they there's not much that they could do outside of that. I'm sure if this little one was left in Japan, he probably wouldn't be breathing long. They would probably want to cover it up, and you know how the governments do. The government types like to cover things up. They would kill all the civilians and act like nothing happened. A broadcast interrupt on the channel that we're listening on the radio, as the announcement is on all the stations. The announcer on, well, the news person, whatever, announced that the Justice League and a couple of pro heroes are going against each other. They announced All Might has finally arrived and started fighting Superman, while the rest of the heroes are occupied with the rest of the Justice League. I figured things were going to go. I figured things were going to heat up eventually. It's a good thing I left, as I did, or this little one would have been in danger. You've always been pretty good to know when you need to bail out of a situation before it gets out of hand, and your survival skills is quite impressive. Like always, Selene. You know me, Red. I'm not as stupid as the rest of those heroes in tights. I get, I steal what I want, I do what I want, and then I bail out. And you just gotta look at the Justice League track record. There's no way in hell I was gonna stay for the whole thing. I figured they always find themselves in extreme situations. No thank you. I like to keep my life. As she continued to talk to Ivy, as she unbuckled Izuku and gently placed his head on her lap, as she strokes his hair. It's strange, Red. I just met the kid, and I just have this strong feeling to protect him. Especially how I don't like kids. That's probably your motherly instincts kicking in, Selene. So did you find out his name yet? That hasn't came up yet. I wanted to get a safe distance before I get any information from him, so we don't get disturbed during when I'm asking him questions. He's not very trusting of other people. I don't blame him though. In that situation, you kind of had to look out for yourself. That I understand. I'm not surprised. If he's telling the truth, then he had to live by himself for quite some time. I can't imagine having no family, no one to look after you at such a young age in that horrible district. I expect he had to do a lot of things to survive. After a while, the three women sit in silence. A few hours later, Harley spoke up. All right, girls. We're going to probably call it a night. It's getting pretty late, and I bet the kid's hungry, so let's stop at that hotel up there. As the car drove into the parking lot in the hotel, as they drove into the parking lot in the hotel parking spots, basically, all the three of them get out as Selene carries Izuku in her arms as he's passed out hard. Selene paid for the room while Harley and Ivy go to their room, as she brought some food just in case he gets hungry. As she sat him on the bed, A few minutes later, she noticed the young man is waking up as he stretches out his arms and yawns. Good, you're up here. Here, we picked up you some food when we were passed out. It should be still pretty warm. Izuku reached out and took the bag as he pulled out several cheeseburgers out of it and began to eat like he hasn't ate in weeks. Slow down, it's not going to go anywhere. If I'm going to be taking care of you, little guy, I kind of need to know your name. We're mostly going to have to change your last name, but no reason for me to change your first name after all. That was the name you were born with. My name is Izuku. It's very nice to meet you, Izuku. I'm Celine Kyle. I'm mostly known as Catwoman. Where are we? We're still in Japan. We're in a hotel. We're leaving Japan and heading towards Gotham City, where I live. Like I said, I'm going to be taking care of you. We're going to have to get you a identity. I know a few people that owe me a favor or two, so I'll change your last name to mine, and get all the proper paperwork forged when I get your records. And when I get the forging all completed, according to the system, you'll be my son. This is kind of new to me. I've never taken care of a kid before. As she noticed, Izuku is yawning. As he's nodding awake from a sleep, back and forth a lot. She could tell by his eyes that he's clearly tired. He tried to keep his eyes open as much as possible, but he finally fell back to sleep as Celine put all the food back in the bag and put it on the side of the table that's in the room. As she turned out the light and laid down, and simply put Izuku in her arms, as they both fall asleep. The next morning, Celine woke up with her new son and hold his hand while they walk out of the room, and meeting up with Harley and Ivy as they all get into the vehicle and begin to drive. As they stop the vehicle at a private hangar, as the three of them boarded a private plane, while Harley drives the plane. The rest of them get on board and get buckled up as they take off. As we time skip when they finally approach Gotham, as they all land on a land strip, as the plane entered the hangar, as everyone begins to exit the plane once the power was shut off. Thank you, girls. I'll take it from here. Of course, Celine. It's always good to see you. If you ever in a bind, I'm always willing to help. We're friends after all. And take care of that little scamp over there. Plan to, Harley. As Poison Ivy gives Izuku a warm smile and ruffles his hair. Take care of yourself, Celine. Like my girlfriend said, if you need any help, just give us a call. As everyone went on their own separate ways, Harley and Ivy went together to go back to their place. As Celine made her way back to her apartment, when they both enter her place, she noticed all her cats immediately went towards Izuku, rubbing against his pants leg, wanting to get pet. She was quite surprised. Her cats normally don't like strangers. They only act. They only act like that towards her. So she was quite surprised and kind of happy that that's the case. The thought of school did cross her mind. She decided to put it on hold for right now. She needs to make him an identity. As Celine made a couple phone calls a few days later, she has successfully created a forged identity for Izuku Kyle, giving her her last name, so no one gets suspicious. They'll just think that they're a mother and son, even though their hair colors are totally different. But nevertheless, let's continue. She's spent her time with him. She spent her time with him during the day, then go out at night to get some valuables and steal stuff and sell them off for some emergency money, just in case. As they started to live as the two of them started to live like a family, like a mother and son. As he kept his difference away from her at first, but she was okay with that. Selene had no desire to rush things. She wants him to feel comfortable. So she continued this daily routine for about 3 years has passed. Izuku has been attending school by this time. He started calling Selene Mom. She proved to him that she wasn't going anywhere. Compared to his life in the district, he has it pretty good now. Compared to normal people, his situation is not too good. But compared to how he was living, he's fine with this. He quite enjoys spending time with his adopted mother, Selene. He hasn't stopped training with Beerus. When she does go on her little night raids or her little night burglaries, Izuku fully knows what she does, but he really doesn't care. Things been going pretty smoothly for the reincarnation of Beerus. He started to talk more and socialize a little more. He might be cordial towards people, but doesn't mean he trusts any of them. Only person at this current time that he trusts is his mother, Selene. And the list ends there. Izuku just walked into the apartment and fed all the cats and pet a couple of them and sat down his book bag. He decided to do some homework. When he was done, he checked to see if his mother was home. He was shocked that his mother was not in her room. She wasn't even in the apartment. She's usually home by this time of day. So he's getting a little bit worried. So he closed his eyes to sense her life force. And it took him a while, but he figured out where his mother is. Immediately, he locked up the apartment and took flight and flew towards his mother's directions as he approached some sort of very old factory. He sensed several life forms scattered all around the factory as he saw a couple of Riddler's men walk out of the factory. Finally, as Beerus appeared out of nowhere, we can get some battle experience. I want you to try every technique I want you to try a couple techniques I showed you. I want you to use that beam thing to use your finger like like Frieza did. I don't know how you made that up. Sorry, I didn't know how. I had no idea how you duplicated that. It must be one of the past memories from my fights. Neat little technique. Should give you a lot to work with. These punks should be no trouble. I'm guessing whoever's in charge here has your mother. So let's make an example of him, shall we? I bet you only like her because she's a cat person. I don't know what you're talking about, kid. Whatever helps you sleep at night, kitty cat. You're lucky I can't erase you, kid. I have erased people for far less. Izuku smirked. Well, if you did that, you probably would be erasing yourself. After all, I'm your reincarnation. Just get started, you little smartass. I liked you better when you barely talked. I plan to, kitty cat. As he begins to hover down in front of the goons, as Beerus is fuming, he picked up 2 rocks and chucked them at the 2 men, knocking them out as they fall to the ground, unconscious. As he pushed the door open, he's still a kid, so with extremely powerful, well, with the same strength, so pushing that door open won't be an issue for him. It's a big metal door, so. As he begins to explore the factory, the first person he saw in the factory, he rushed with incredible speed and jumped middle of the air and struck the man across the face with his foot as the man goes flying against the wall, not even looking at the man as he shot a purple ki blast towards the man, severely injuring him but not killing him. For some reason, he noticed an increase in strength, slowly but surely, ever since he started to train with Lord Beerus. As he focused all of his ki through his tip of his fingertip, as he shoot out a purple ki blast, as he shoots everyone he sees throughout the whole factory that came to his view of sight. As he stepped into the room where his mother is tied up, upside down, hanging above a tank of acid, while a man with a green suit with a green hat, holding on some sort of cane with a question mark on the top of the cane. Well, this is interesting. How did a kid get... How did a kid like you get past all through my goons? As the Riddler turned back towards Catwoman, as he could see the scared expression in her, or scared look in her eyes. You know the kid somehow. No, that couldn't be. Oh, this is good. Very interesting. Let's make this a family matter, shall we? As the Riddler has a devilish grin. That look you're giving that kid, it's like a mother would give their child. This is just perfect. Get out of here, Izuku. You can get hurt. If you hurt him, I'll kill you, Edward. Did I give you permission to call me by my name, bitch? Bitch? As he swung his cane, hitting across Catwoman's face, leaving a nice bruise on her cheek. The Riddler was unaware Izuku's eye pupils changed into cat slits when he saw he struck his mother. If Riddler was paying attention, he would have saw the purple aura that's covering the boy. What are you guys doing? Just don't sit there and look pretty. Bring me the kid. I want to get a closer look at him. While yelling at Izuku to run, Edward Igma, aka the Riddler, watched the young man raise his fingertip at one of his men as some sort of purple beam shoot out of his finger, hitting one of the goons as he goes flying into the wall, leaving a crack in the cement wall. Not only Riddler was surprised, but Selene as well. She's never once seen him display such power before. Izuku disappeared out of nowhere, making several after images of himself. As he reappeared right in front of the bigger one of Riddler's goons, as you see, he extends his hand towards his chest. As the man goes flying against the wall of the factory, as he immediately started to point his finger at the rest of the goons and start shooting Kai beams out of his finger. His version of Death Beam. Until there was only 3 people left. His mother, himself, and the Riddler. As Izuku walk up to him, to a certain point, and point his finger at his shins. As he repeatedly shoot Riddler, or Igma, or Edward, as he falls down to his knees in pain. He dropped his cane when he fell on his knees, as Izuku walked over and picked up the cane. As he tilt Riddler's chin up with the cane, make sure he makes eye contact with him. You shouldn't have done that. For hurting my mother, I'm going to hurt you. As Izuku begins to beat the Riddler with his own cane, Izuku wasn't very happy with the Riddler's actions towards his mother. I suddenly noticed that he's not going to stop. If he doesn't stop him, he's going to kill he's going to kill Edward. She doesn't care about the Riddler one bit, but she doesn't want her son to be a murderer. If she could help it. She knows down the line he's most likely going to have to kill someone eventually, but she wants to keep him as pure as possible. I suddenly use her acrobatics to get out of the bindings and land her feet, or swing before she let go, and land all of her fours in front of the tank of acid. Basically swung, then got loose, then landed. Basically, what like generally happened. She immediately ran towards her son and tried to stop him from killing the Riddler. That's enough. As she placed a hand on his shoulder. Oh, here you are, Mother. I do apologize. This pathetic waste of space needed to learn his lesson. Not to hit my mother. As he whacked Riddler across the face with the cane again. The Riddler is totally terrified at Izuku, as he started calling him a demon, only for Igma to get kicked aside ahead by Selene. Seems like you've been keeping secrets. Let's go home. We'll have a long conversation about this. Understood, Mother. When they finally got back to the apartment, Izuku spent the extra few hours explaining how he achieved his powers, as he has... Sorry, give me a second here, guys. But leaving the part out of the big floating purple ghost cat, that's even him. It's even hard for him to comprehend that. And he had no idea how his mother would react to that. He knew he was withholding some information. She didn't want to push him. She's willing to wait for him to tell her on his own. Well, I got to say, son, you might have mentally damaged the Edward. He shouldn't have hit you, Mother. He's lucky I didn't kill him. I wanted to, but you seem to be against it, it seems. So I chose not to end his pathetic life. Thank you for caring, son. But if you killed him, that would have got the Batman's attention, and the last thing we need is him to butt in our business. I'll get dinner started. You must be hungry. Surprisingly, I am hungry. That's the first time I used my abilities like that, so it kind of tired me out. As he sat down at the kitchen table and wait for his food to be made, as Selene and Izuku hold a conversation throughout the whole time she was cooking him food. A few months has passed as it's been quite peaceful so far. Izuku is sitting Izuku is sitting in his desk in his room working on some homework. As he cares he does care about I could totally mess it up. As he could hear, don't know why I clearly, yeah, my voice text on his the app I use, sometimes my voice text wants to say other word than what I actually meant. But anyways, let's get on to this. Let's get on with the story. As he could hear his mother talking with two familiar voices, as he recognized Harley and Ivy. It's their annual get-together they do every few months. He mostly stays out of their way instead of going down there and socializing with all three of them. So what's the word on the street, Red? I kind of been occupied with Izuku recently. Haven't had time to do any nightly patrols. Nothing much is happening in Gotham currently. Joker's locked up, alongside with Scarecrow, and a few others, like Penguin. A few others. Penguin is laying low, alongside with Two-Face and Black Mask. That's very unnerving to hear all the big players are laying low. I feel the same way. Batman hasn't been active a lot this past couple weeks in Gotham. God knows what he's up to. Knowing him, he's probably in the thick of things, or whatever he got himself into. I know that concerned look in your eyes, Selene. You don't have to worry. Outside of Edward, Igma, no one knows of Izuku's existence. I don't think he'll be talking anytime soon. Thanks, I just worry one day someone will come and take him from me. He might not be my biological son, but that doesn't mean I love him any less. I've got quite accustomed to his presence here. At first he didn't talk much, but I slowly got him to open up over the years. Speaking of the little scamp, where is he? As Harley sat down a bowl of dip for chips, most likely in his room doing some homework. As Selene yelled a little bit, I suggest you get down here, Izuku, before Harley eats all of the chocolate pudding. I'm going to hear a door slam open. It didn't take her son very long to get downstairs. A couple seconds later, he made his way downstairs and sat in the chair in the kitchen, staring daggers at Harley for trying to take his pudding that's not even there. Harley and Ivy giggled at Selene's son's behavior. This will hold you over until dinner. As Selene placed some chocolate pudding in front of him with a spoon, as he immediately began eating. For some reason, he's been pretty serious about chocolate pudding nowadays. Ever since I had him try pudding one time. Basically, the first time she gave him pudding, he was very protective over it. I can see that. As that's where we're going to cut it. Hope you guys have a good night and day. Enjoy my time zones, and I'll catch you in the next video.